Good evening, everyone. I'm going to do my best Kurt Valenti right off the bat. We are live. K&K Sports Show, Hangover Edition. I mean Valentine's Day Edition. Football's over now, boys, so it's the depressing time of year. But K&K Sports Show, we got a fun-filled agenda for you this hour. But before we get into the introductions, I want to pass it off to Paul because we had a little tragedy today, and Paul, take it over real quick.
Thank you, Kenny. So, needless to say, I'm sure most people already know the Chiefs were celebrating their Super Bowl victory from Sunday, and uh, toward the end of the celebration, tragically, there was some type of uh, violence that took place in and around the area that the Chiefs were celebrating. We don't know at this point to what extent, why, the reasons, the motives, but needless to say, unfortunately and tragically, one person has already died. I've read up to 22 people have been injured, including 11 children. The violence in the world has just gotten out of hand. I don't want to get politically uh, in a political situation right now, but I just want to say that all of us hope and pray, and our thoughts and prayers are with the people surrounding the situation, their families, and the Chiefs, the Chief Kingdom, and everybody in the Kansas City area. And we hope that this situation hopefully never occurs again.
Thanks, Paul. How about a little quick moment of silence for those and prayers for those out in Kansas City and all around the U.S.? Thanks, Paul.
Thank
Unfortunately, we try and have a fun-filled agenda every week, but unfortunately, doing sports podcasts, Trevor, too, over you do, Carson, from being a streamer, there are tragic events sometimes. So, unfortunately, this is tragic, and we're going to do our best this hour to entertain everyone and hopefully have a fun-filled agenda for everyone. That being said, how are you doing, Carson?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks, Kenny. Yeah, thanks, Paul, for that as well to open the show. Very important to talk about as well. But yeah, obviously thoughts and prayers to what's going on in Kansas City. And yeah, obviously a hell of a Super Bowl. That was a phenomenal game. Congrats again to the Chiefs on winning the Super Bowl. And yeah, welcome Trevor to the show to fill in for Kurt tonight, and we'll get rocking and rolling.
Absolutely. And it's like Carson just said, I want to welcome our guest this evening. He's not a guest, he's part of our family. Filling in for Kurt Valenti, Mr. Trevor Saltzman, Denver Bronco ROundup. Trevor, how you doing? And then before we get the show started, tell us a little about Denver Bronco ROundup for those who may not know. But I believe most of our audience knows about Denver Bronco ROundup. But what do you guys got going on over there?
Yeah, so again, I just want to again thank you all of you guys for having me on. Again, it's such a blessing to be here with you guys. And again, Carson, thank you for having me on as well. Because again, I think it's been our first time on, but I've been down here with Paul and Kenny before and Kurt as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a blessing to be here with you guys. And again, thank you for everything you guys do, support us. And then again, it's nothing but love. We're all family, and my heart is in there in Kansas City with all those people there. And what's such a great. It's just supposed to be like such a great day. Celebration turns into a tragic, something tragic is absolutely horrible. But yeah, with Denver Bronco ROundup, again, we're just Denver Bronco news, notes, trades, everything. We have everything covered over there at Rockies Mountain Sports Network. Even doing some writing over there. We have shows Tuesdays and Fridays now. We could cut it down a show a little bit with the off season coming down, but we're going to have shows, free agency shows. We're going to have draft shows. We're going to have the whole 9 yards. We're going to have it all covered. Just again, continue to subscribe, like, and share, because you never know. We're going to be live as much as we can, as much as possible. So, and we do our show 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and then Eastern Time it'd be 9 p.m. For everybody listening over here on the Eastern Coast. So, yeah, I guess again, thank you for letting me plug Denver Bronco ROundup, Kenny, and thank you guys for always supporting us. And it's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Great.
Of
Love
course.
having
Thank
you,
you, Trevor.
Love having you. Check out Denver Bronco Roundup. Like Trevor said, guys do awesome job. And I think Scoops was your guest last night. So you guys always have one of us on there as well. So we appreciate you guys and love you guys like family. That being said, guys, I'm going to get the show started tonight and then take.
Kenny, can I just interrupt 2 seconds? I'm sorry. Can I just send out a Valentine's to my amazing, wonderful, beautiful wife, Luby, who she's a warrior. She's going through rehab for her knee replacement surgery. And I just want to send out Valentine's. I love you, and you're my number one.
Awesome, Paul. Valentine's for Luby and speedy recovery. Get to
For
that
sure.
dance floor with Paul. We need to see that video.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And also, she's a warrior for letting you come on tonight while it's Valentine's Day. So
That's why she's the most amazing woman.
Thank you, Luby, for letting Paul be with us tonight. That being said, I'm going to take over as Kurt Valenti would do. And we're going to start the show off with some quick hitters. So I got some Super Bowl quick hitters. Paul, I'm not going to lie, Paul gave me some of these. I got a couple of my own, and I got a Valentine's Day one at the end of it. So we do these quick hitter style, Trevor, like 15 seconds, 20 seconds or less each answer. Just quick responses, and we'll get the show rolling on a high note here. So I'll start with Paul. Paul, where does Patrick Mahomes rank on the list of greatest quarterbacks ever? Tom Brady's the GOAT. Now is Mahomes the kid? For those who don't know, the kid is a baby goat. So where would you rank him, Paul?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, TB12 is one. I'm going to put Joe Montana number two. I always felt Montana until Tom Brady came along was the greatest quarterback, and Mahomes is right now number three, and being only 28, hey, he might surpass Brady, but right now he's right there.
I'm gonna go to Carson next.
Yeah, I think he's number two right now. Obviously, Brady's got 7 rings. Mahomes just got his 3rd, so I think he's got a long way to go still. But what he's doing in today's modern day NFL, which there's a lot more talent in my opinion. So I would say Mahomes is number 2 right now. Yes.
Trevor.
Yeah, I would say Mahomes is number 2 as well. I mean, again, this guy's only 28 years old. I mean, this guy might be in the league for another 12 years. It's going to be insane. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when it's all said and done and where he ranks up there with Brady. But right now, I think he's number 2.
I'm with Paul on number 3, but Mahomes is very close because I did see Montana play some. So I will say number 2 because of that. And there's our good friend Keith Brugman, Denver Bronco Roundup founder. Happy Valentine's Day. K&K Sports Show and my Denver Bronco teammate. I love you, man. Same, Keith. Same. Likewise, my friend.
Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, Keith.
And happy Valentine's Day to you and your wife as well, Keith. All right, boys. So the next one I'll start this one with Carson. Did Kyle Shanahan make the wrong decision, Carson, in overtime by receiving the ball instead of kicking off and playing defense?
I don't think necessarily he made the wrong decision. I think since it was the first time it's ever happened before with the new postseason rules, you just, normally you get overtime, you want to get the ball first. You want to go score a touchdown, the game wins. But in this circumstance, if you get a touchdown, they can respond. And it was interesting to see because if they would have scored, I think Andy Reid would have gone down the field, got a touchdown, and possibly could have gone for 2 and win the game. So I think in the new postseason overtime, it makes sense to go on defense first because then you know exactly what you need to match your opponent, if not better. So I think it was responsible. Who knows? The defense might have been tired, and that's why he wanted to send his offense out there. But I don't think it really cost him the game. So I'll say no.
Trevor.
Yeah, I'll say no. I think that, again, with Kyle Shanahan being an offensive mind that he is, I want him to go out there and tack it. And then if the Chiefs respond, then you can have another chance to respond again, So it's kind of you set the tone, then you have to, then your defense knows what they need to do to stop that opposing team. And then if they go down and score, then you can respond again. So for me, I don't think that's why they lost the game. There's many other ways that it might be they lost the game. So I'd say no.
And Paul.
I'm going to say yes. If I have that guy sitting on the other sidelines, I want the ball last. I want him to do what he has to do. And if he scores a touchdown, then it's on us to score a touchdown to match it. And like actually Carson said, maybe even go for the 2 points. I do not want to give that guy an opportunity to come back and score, especially if we kick a field goal. There's no way I want him to have the ball last. And unfortunately, that's what happened. I know he said Shanahan that he was thinking the third possession, but you know what? If I'm scoring a touchdown, maybe that works. But the fact that he didn't, and they only kicked the field goal, that to me was deadly. So I'm going to say yes. He made a poor decision.
Yeah, it's the wrong decision because they lost the game. If they won the game, we wouldn't be having this discussion. But Keith nailed it, in my opinion. It says it cost the game. You don't give Mahomes a fourth down on every series. And I think it was blown by them not going for the touchdown, kicking the 3 points. If you don't get the touchdown, you're giving Mahomes the ball at the 3-yard line. Mm-hmm. And the way the defense has been playing, I'll trust my defense to stop them, as opposed to giving them the ball where they had it starting at the 25 instead of the 3. So I'm with you, Paul. I think it was a mistake, but it's only a mistake because they lost the game. So, we wouldn't be having this discussion if not. And there's Jody, Denver Bronco Roundup teammate. Hey boys, where are your dates? We must be Jody's date because he's hanging out with us tonight.
Hey, Jody.
Love you, Jode. Next one I'll start with Trevor. Is Andy Reid on the Mount Rushmore of coaches? Yeah. Who would you put on it if you can think of any off the top of your head?
Yeah, I would absolutely think that he is. I would say Belichick just because of how he won, and how many times he's won. But again, I mean, how much of that was Belichick or Brady? I guess you can make that argument for yourself. I think you can make the same argument with Mahomes and Andy Reid because before Mahomes came to Kansas City, they weren't winning Super Bowls. They were getting to the playoffs. But I would say Andy Reid, I would say he's up on on Mount Rushmore. I think he's still got a ways to go. This whole thing he's going to retire, I think, is just overblown a little bit. 65 years old, Belichick was coaching into his early 70s, and even his late 60s and winning Super Bowls still. So for me, Andy Reid's probably right behind Belichick in the Mount Rushmore, but I still think he has some time to go before he overpasses it.
Carson.
Yeah, I think he's definitely on Mount Rushmore for sure. And I think I'd probably put like Lombardi there and Belichick, and maybe like Don Shula for top 4.
And Paul.
Yeah, Carson nailed it. I had those exact 4, Carson, on my list, and nice. I mean, you could if you want to have a little bit on the side of Mount Rushmore, the Tom Landrys, the Bill Walshes, even going all the way back to the beginning of football, George Halas. But those 4 guys that Carson said would definitely be, and Andy Reid. I mean, his whole coaching totality, including the Eagles, it's amazing.
I got Andy Reid on the outside looking in. I got Bill Walsh in, and because he created that West Coast style offense, that's why he's above Andy Reid by a hair. And I'm not saying it's much. So Andy Reid can be there next year for sure. Couple comments. Keith saying I can dress up quite spiffy as your date. And Jody saying Chuck Noll. And our good friend Mike McDaniel, I believe, we all know who this is. We all say somebody looks like Mike McDaniel. So it's Mike McDaniel's doppelganger, Mr. Ron Scoops, saying, I see a familiar face up there. How's it going, Saltzman? And a couple old friends down below. What's up, Scoops? I mean, hey, McDaniels.
Hey, Ryan.
How's it going, my friend? Couple more I got for you guys. And like I said, in the style of Kurt. Paul, are the Chiefs a dynasty? Yes or no? Quick hitter.
Yeah, we had it last week. Talking of comparisons, absolutely, 100%. I mean, they've been to 6 straight championship games, 4 Super Bowls in the last 5 years. Absolutely, dynasty.
Trevor, Bronco fan. I know it's going to pain you to say this, but I think I know which way you're going.
Yeah, I think my heart's a little crumbling right now. I can't say this, but yeah, they are definitely a dynasty. Winning 3 out of the last 5 Super Bowls. I mean, they're absolutely a dynasty, and I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. Just so, yes, they're absolutely a dynasty.
And Carson.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. The fact that they won back-to-back Super Bowls hasn't happened since Brady in 03 and 04. That's without a doubt a dynasty for me.
Yeah, easy one for me, Dynasty. I got a couple entertainment ones here for you. Carson, your favorite commercial during the Super Bowl?
I like the Pringles one with Mr. Pringle. I think that was my favorite.
That was a good one. I like that.
Mhm.
Trevor, you got one?
Yeah, I'd say the Pringles one too is probably one of my favorites. I'm not too big on the Super Bowl halftime on the commercials. I usually go away to get something to drink. Usually when the Super Bowl, when there's commercials on the Super Bowl, so I'm not too big on the Super Bowl commercials.
And Paul.
I loved Arnold State Farm. I'm a big, huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, but my favorite was the Dunk Kings with J-Lo and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Tom Brady. I thought that was a funny commercial.
That one was
Nice.
good. I like that one too. I like the Pringles one. An underrated one that's not going to get much recognition because there wasn't any celebrities in it. The Reese's Caramel one, where you had the one older guy puking in the bag when they thought the Reese's was going, and then the old lady going through the table.
Yeah.
It just had me laughing for the whole.
Was
whole
there a
time.
Doritos commercial this year? I don't remember seeing a Doritos commercial. They usually
It was
have one
a
like every
spin-off,
year.
a new product that they're putting out. It wasn't that good. It was somebody.
Okay.
It was zip lining. They
Oh,
were zip lining.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I forget what
Right,
the
right,
product's even called, but a new Dorito product coming
okay,
out.
right.
interesting. Yeah, I think the
That's
Doritos
right.
ones are always great. I didn't see one
Yeah.
this year, but that's fun. Yeah.
There's
Also,
Coach
oh,
Breslin saying Happy Valentine's Day, guys. And I got to
Hey,
go
hey,
off script
Coach.
for 10 seconds while Coach is on. Coach, I got to congratulate you. From Paul and I, congratulations on bringing over Bobby Johnson, the offensive line coach
I
for the New
know.
York Giants.
I saw that. You're right.
Love you,
Good,
Coach.
good
Love you,
luck with
Coach.
that.
Just
Good
busted
luck with that,
chops. Love you.
Coach.
Nice.
Historically bad offensive line coach
Oh
going
my
to the New York,
goodness.
to the Washington Commanders. All right, another entertainment one. I'll start this one with Paul. Do you think Usher's halftime show was good, bad, or eh?
I thought it was good. It was more like almost the fact that it was in Vegas and there was marching bands and there was other singers and there was other Cirque du Soleil kind of stuff. So yeah, it was all right. It was good.
Trevor.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid. It was kind of a era where I kind of grew up in, so it was really nice. Kind of took me back to my childhood when I started starting singing a lot of those old songs. So I'd say it was pretty solid. Is it the best one? I don't know if it's the best, but it was solid.
Carson.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid. It started off kind of slow and then it kind of got good towards the end. But yeah, I would say give it like a 6 out of 10, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Maybe a little higher for me, 7. I like Ludacris, Lil Wayne, Alicia Keys coming in. That was nice to see some people come in and do the songs with him. So I thought that added some juice to it. So I'll give it about a 7. It was one of them where it's like, oh my God, I don't have to watch, but I'm there. I'm gonna watch it. So it was solid. I got a couple more for you. This one's for Trevor, but I'm gonna ask everybody this. Trevor, your thoughts on Elway carrying the trophy to the Chiefs?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I commented on this last night on our show. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Again, they're asking him this in like August and September. I mean, they're not asking him like a week before the Super Bowl or anything. He doesn't know who's gonna be the winner. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think we have more problems to solve in Broncos country than John Elway handing the Chiefs the Super Bowl.
I'll ask this in a different form for Paul and Carson. Paul, if Eli Manning handed the Super Bowl trophy to the Eagles or the Cowboys, how would you react?
Yeah, that would be a gut punch, but what can you say? Maybe if he was handing it to the Eagles, he dropped the trophy or something.
And Carson, if Barry Sanders had to hand it to the Packers, how would you react?
Yeah, that would be rough. But again, it's like if like Trevor said, if he was asked to do this before the season started, you just don't know who's going to be in the game. So I wouldn't have a problem with it. If it would not be pleasant, but I wouldn't like torch Barry for it.
Yeah, I'm old school, man. He had the fakest smile that I ever seen, Elway. He brought him down that aisle, man. He was not happy. He was, he wanted the 49ers. But I think one of you guys mentioned this last night, and I apologize, Trevor, for not knowing who it was. Joe Montana was there. How cool would it have been to see Montana, because he played for both teams, for him to carry the trophy.
Yeah,
that's actually a good point.
I know one of you guys mentioned that yesterday, and whoever it was, Trevor, I want to definitely give props for that point, because I didn't think of that. So hats off to whoever mentioned that yesterday. Real quick, Coach Breslin's saying on the Commanders, we'll see how it pans out, and he's right about this, Paul. Lots of issues he's hearing dealing with Dable and his assistant. So we'll see how he does with the Commanders.
Yeah,
and that's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got two more, guys. Do these quick. Paul, will the Chiefs three-peat?
I'm going to say no.
I'm with you. I'm going to say no. Carson.
No, I don't think they will.
And Trevor.
No, I don't think they will.
Better not.
No, they better not.
If Trevor says yes, he's going to be transforming over to a Chiefs podcast.
It's never been done before in NFL history. Nobody's three-peated.
Yeah.
So.
Last one, guys. Trevor, who should the Chiefs open next season with?
49ers.
I mean, last year was the Lions, so that was.
I would say 49ers. I would love to see that matchup again. Kyle Shanahan kind of get his.
They might not be on the schedule.
Well, wait. Yeah, Kenny, I have the schedule. Let me give you the quick games.
Okay.
Ravens, Bengals, Broncos, Texans, Raiders, Chargers, Saints, and Bucks are their home games next year.
Ooh. I'd probably say Ravens. I want to see that matchup again. I think that was a heck of a matchup. And Lamar Jackson, I think, him and Patrick Mahomes going at it again. I would love to see that again.
And Carson.
Yeah, I'd say the Ravens or maybe the Bengals.
Paul.
How about the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh's first game as back in the NFL? That would be an interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
I got a good one for you. I mean, last year we saw Chiefs Lions, and everybody's saying, how could the Lions get the opening day? Well, they went out and they upsetted the Chiefs on opening day. A team that I think is going to be better than they were this year, Texans.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Texans
one.
would be a nice way to get the Texans, some recognition over there for the season they had this past year, making the playoffs. So I think the Texans would be fun. A couple comments from Coach Breslin. He's saying very hard to do, but they will have the talent to do it. The Lions, he said they should have been there.
Yeah.
We all know that.
I know.
All right, that's going to take care of our version of the quick hitters. We got to take about a 5-minute break, guys. I got a short video with Kurt. He's out with Jen right now, Valentine's Day. But I did do a little video with him on Monday, his thoughts on the Super Bowl, and I did 3 quick hitters with him. So I'll see you guys back in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sports show. We got a little Super Bowl talk with Kurt, because he will not be with us Wednesday. It is Monday, the day after the Super Bowl, but he will be celebrating Valentine's Day with Jen. So a couple questions for Kurt with the Super Bowl. But Kurt, how are you doing? And give us a little quick recap of the game, and then I got a couple questions for you.
Yeah, I'm good, Mr. Kirkpatrick. I hope you and Mr. Sis are doing well, and I want to wish obviously Jenny Hoops a happy Valentine's Day on here, so we see it on Wednesday night. But and Paul and Luby and everybody else, the whole crew. But just, disgusted, Kenny, disgusted. I am the biggest Shanahan supporter, as you know, but not good. Not good. Didn't run the ball as effectively as he should have, as much as he should have. The overtime thing, taking the ball, just totally asinine. And hey, you know what? Hats off to Kansas City, because when you win a Super Bowl, you win it any way you want. They weren't the better. They weren't the best team in football. They weren't the better team than Buffalo. They weren't the better team than Baltimore. They're probably not a better team than Detroit, and they're not a better team than San Francisco. But you know what? Hey, they got it done back to back. But San Francisco's got to be kicking themselves. It's just disappointing. This coaching staff, led by Kyle Shanahan, lost this game for San Francisco last night.
Yeah, you know what, Kurt? I got a couple questions for you. Again, you're with us on video. You'll be doing Valentine's Day with Jen on so I'm going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl with the guys live on Wednesday. But I got a couple quick hitters for you in your style of Kurt's quick hitters. Kurt, I got 3 for you. First one, was this a disappointing season for the 49ers?
Yes. I mean, they've been the best football team probably the last 4 years, and they still don't have a Super Bowl to show for it. So, yes, they were 100% all in, 100% Super Bowl or bust, and they didn't get it done, so they're a bust. So, absolutely.
There's a little you could want to call it a trick question or what have it. Did the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, or did the 49ers lose the Super Bowl?
Listen, anytime you win a championship, hey, you're still Super Bowl champion, so my hats go off to them. But absolutely, they were not the better team. They probably weren't the better team for what did it go? Almost, what was the Super Bowl? 70 something minutes, right? So I would say, 65 minutes, they were the better team, San Francisco. So I'm gonna say no, they lost. You know what? Kansas City's defense kept them in that game. And gave Mahomes a couple, little chance to make some plays. But I'm going to say San Fran lost that game, Kenny.
Okay, I got one more and then a little fun one for you. Are the Chiefs now considered, can we call the Chiefs a dynasty?
Yeah, you have to. As much as I don't like them, you have to. When you win 3 out of 4 back-to-back, anytime you go back-to-back, you're a dynasty. So absolutely they are.
And they're going to be going for history next year, going for three in a row. So teams, they're going to have a big target on their back. All right, Kurt, anything else? I got one fun one for you. You don't have to answer it because if it's a surprise.
Can I just say one thing before you give that one to me?
Yeah.
Okay. And I talked to you about this off air today on the phone. A lot of these, and why, as a Bronco fan now, sitting back, I'm glad I got Sean Payton. A lot of these younger, quote unquote, I'm going to be the cutest and smartest coach in the league. It's backfiring, right? Look at Joe Brady. Didn't run it in Buffalo, lost. Todd Monken, totally bad game plan, lost. Carson, love you to death, but Dan Campbell, going forward on 4th down and all that, lost. Kyle Shanahan, I'm going to take the ball, lost. You know what? I'm sorry. Bill Belichick doesn't lose that game last night as head coach of the 49ers. He doesn't. Because he's running it, playing defense, and he'll win that game, 17-3. He's going to put points on the board. So, looking at it, throw the analytics out, Scoops, throw these stupid numbers, all these stupid numbers you keep throwing at me. And it's actually losing teams Super Bowls. It's what it's doing. Detroit, throw it away. San Fran, throw it away. Baltimore, I don't know what you're doing. But it's these coaches, they think they're reinventing the wheel. You don't reinvent it. Run it, play defense. Look, Kenny, look what Kansas City did yesterday. Kansas City did nothing. Kansas City just stood there and said, go ahead, San Francisco, do stupid stuff, and we'll just capitalize. And Andy Reid's got another ring. So, you know what? Give me the old-time coach. He's going to run it, play defense, let his quarterback make a couple plays. That's all, that's what I wanted to say about that.
No, that again, this is just a short little video. Kurt is going to be out with Jen Wednesday night for Valentine's Day. So we got Kurt for a couple minutes here. And then we're going to get back to the live show. But Kurt, I got, analytics. I'll just say, we'll get into this, when you're back with us live. But Shanahan said, back to your opening statement, take the ball. I mean, play defense in overtime, 100% with the overtime rules. I agree with you. But Shanahan said because of analytics, he did that because they thought they were going to get the ball twice. That's ridiculous. And we'll get into it. I know we're short time here. But we'll get into it. Let's save that for next Wednesday. Maybe we'll do a little analytics segment. But my 2 quick ones for you. First one, Kurt, give me do you have any funny Valentine's Day memories? And I'll share mine live on the show with the guys.
I really don't.
Or a memorable, or it doesn't have to be a funny one. It could be a memorable one, like maybe your first one with Jen, or just a funny one in past.
I don't know. You know what? Just honestly, just spending time with Jen, doing dinner with Jen. I'm going to say like that. Just spending time with Jen. That's memorable.
And can you share your Valentine's Day plans? Are you guys going out to dinner or is it a surprise?
No, we're gonna do Bellinopoli, Bloomfield. We're gonna do that. We did a
Nice.
little dinner
Excellent
last week.
Italian
We went to
restaurant.
Rome. We're gonna do Bellinopoli and Bloomfield, and just hang out. Maybe watch a little Knicks. I don't know, but
There
just
you
chill.
go.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. Well, Kurt, thank you for hopping on. We did a short little video. We're going to be back. We'll be doing the rest of the show now with the guys, and hope you and Jen have a happy Valentine's Day, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys, and I'll see you next week.
And I'm here with Kurt Valenti. All right,
Good
fellas,
job.
that was
Good job,
Kurt,
Kenny.
Kurt Valenti.
Nice, Kenny.
Good job,
Kenny.
Kurt.
Good job.
Yep, Kurt.
Hey, Kenny.
Again, Kurt's
Can I
with
just-
Jen Valentine's Day, and yeah, I'll let you interject it. I do have
Oh,
a
okay.
fun Valentine's question for you guys before we continue, but go ahead, Paul.
Go ahead. He brought up a good point, and I know he loves Shanahan and obviously, Mike and all of that stuff. But you know what? Look, Shanahan was the coach of the Falcons in the Super Bowl as offensive coordinator when they lost to the Patriots 28-3. Okay. 4 years ago, they have a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl in the fourth quarter. They lose to the Chiefs. Sunday, 10-point lead in the Super Bowl, lose again. So you know what? Maybe the first time it's a mistake, but you know what they say: first time's a mistake, the second time's a pattern. Now the third time. I think Kyle Shanahan, especially in light of firing Steve Wilkes today, has to really look at himself in the mirror and say, hey, maybe I'm the problem. And as great as some people think he is, maybe he's the problem as opposed to other people that he's getting rid of. That's all I wanted to say.
No, that's a good point. Again, that was correct. Eddie Murphy came in late. He said he didn't know that was pre-recorded. Eddie, I had to look a couple times. I was getting confused listening to thinking, I was like, wait a minute,
you guys did a great job.
And Scoop's got a question. I'll let Carson answer this because it has to do with the Pistons, Carson. He says, and it wasn't coverage, Scoops, but he's saying, breaking news, the Pistons center, Isaiah Stewart, punched Eubanks. Got to be a suspension there, right, Carson?
Yeah, I had no idea that even happened. But it must have happened in the pregame because that's like that must have just happened, Ryan. So yeah, I'll look into that. But I mean, definitely suspension. You can't punch people. That's crazy, Ryan. Thanks for telling me that.
And Ryan used to go to Seton Hall. He's an alumni there, so he was buddies with Isaiah Stewart, who he managed. He was a buddy of his from the team he managed in high school for Scoops. So Scoops knows him from high school, I should say. Thanks, Ryan, for the breaking news. Eddie's saying police were involved. It happened in the tunnel before.
Wow.
Wow. That's crazy. But yeah, quick. Anybody have any quick Valentines? And then we can pass it off to Paul for a Valentine's Day segment. I said any funny Valentine's Day moments. I was a junior in high school, and I had this, we want to call it crush, or I was into this sophomore girl cheerleader. I was the backup tight end, so I was I was after the cheerleader high school days. So my friend, one of my best friends, who lived downstairs in the apartment complex I was in, for Halloween, I remember he dressed up as a gorilla. He had the gorilla suit on, like the Phoenix Suns mascot. So I told him, I said, let me borrow that gorilla costume. So what do? I go and buy roses. I go and buy a chocolate heart, and I buy a couple balloons. I go to the girl's house with the gorilla costume on. She answers the door, but won't open the door. She's got the frightened stare on her, look like, what is going on?
Oh,
like,
my God.
Who's this maniac? I had to take the mask off, and it melted her heart, but I lost both balloons I bought. When I lifted the mask off, I lost the helium balloons.
Oh, no.
And so Kenny ended up working, guys. I dated her for about a year. And then she ended up moving. That's why, but we're still friends on Facebook to this day. So
Cool.
A little
That's
funny,
awesome.
funny Valentine's Day memory.
You old romantic, you.
Yeah.
Speaking of romantics, it's time to pass it off to our Cupid of the night, Mr. Paul
right.
Rosen. Has got a
Thank
little
you.
Valentine's Day sports segment for us.
All
Looking
right.
forward to this.
So, of course, it's Valentine's Day and love is in the air, of course. So, we're going to do it K&K style. There's only we can do it. So, what I did is I have 6 segments. And what I did was I researched just names that, and you'll understand this as we go along. And I put it into 6 different segments. And I'm going to ask each one of you guys each of the segments, and I listed names, and there's one name that shouldn't be in there, and you have to tell me who the person is, who shouldn't be in there, and you'll see as we go along. So the first section is like I call it "All You Need Is Love," of course by the Beatles, and I have names here. First name Kevin Love. Oh, Trevor, since you're our guest, you're gonna be up. All right, first.
Okay.
All right. So Kevin Love, Bob Love, Davis Love the Third, Lovey Smith, Ben Lovejoy, and Lovey Howell. Give me the person who shouldn't be in that list.
I would say Lovey Smith, in my opinion. That's what I would go with.
I would say that you're wrong. Lovey Smith was the coach of the Bears, among other teams. Lovey Howell, and you young guys may not know. Kenny, you may know who Lovey Howell was. No, okay. Lovey Howell was married to the millionaire on the show Gilligan's Island. So,
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Mrs.
all right.
Howell.
Mrs. Howell,
Okay.
right? Her first name was Lovey. All right. Kenny, you're up next. The name of this segment is "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion, of course. And I digress for a second, but I still think Rose should have let Jack up on that door. But I digress. Anyway, Kenny, I'm going to give you my little Cupid's arrow, and I'm going to give you the names: Josh Hart, Cecil Hart, Freddie Boom Boom Valentine, Bobby Valentine, Ellis Valentine, and Brett Hitman Hart. Give me the name of the person who shouldn't be in that.
Give me the second and third ones again.
Cecil Hart and Freddie Boom Boom Valentine.
Freddie Boom Boom Valentine is probably a boxer. I'm going to go with Cecil Hart.
No. Cecil Hart. Cecil Hart was a Stanley Cup coach who won 2 Stanley Cups in the NHL, and his father, actually, the name of the MVP is the Hart Memorial Trophy, and his father was the name of who the trophy is named after. All right.
Who was it?
Freddie Boom Boom Valentine. I just made up that name.
Go on.
All right, Carson, you're up next. And this segment is called "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal, and it's a bushel of bouquets, and you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
All right. First name Pete Rose, second name Rich Flowers, third name Jalen Rose, fourth name Bobby Sunflower Seymour, fifth name Larry Flowers, and sixth name Derek Rose. So give me the name of the person who should not be in there.
What was the second one you said?
Rich Flowers.
I'll go with Rich Flowers.
Actually, Rich Flowers was a player on the New York Giants back in the 70s. He was he was a defensive back who actually, in those really bad, crappy 70s, he was a decent player. The actual person I made up was Bobby Sunflower Seymour.
Nice.
All right, we go back to Trevor.
Maybe I can get this
Somebody's got to get it. Somebody's got to get it.
Maybe I can get it this time. Before I didn't understand the game before. That's why I said Lovey Smith. I knew Lovey Smith was the coach, but
oh, okay.
That's my fault.
Yeah, I figured.
All right.
I figured you got that mixed up.
Yeah.
All right,
Sorry, guys.
you're looking for someone who is not a real person.
Yeah.
All right. This section is called "Candy Girl" by Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. And what's Valentine's Day without some sweet treats? All right. So let me give you the names: Candy Maldonado, John Marshmallow Marshall, Michael Olawokandi, John Candyman Candelaria, Jason White Chocolate Williams, Daryl Chocolate Thunder Dawkins, and Hershey Hawkins.
Ooh, what was the third one again?
Michael, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, Olawokandi.
Oh, I don't think that's it. What was the one after that one?
John Candyman Candelaria. I'll read them again.
Okay.
Candy Maldonado, John Marshmallow Marshall, Michael Olawokandi, John Candyman Candelaria, Jason White Chocolate Williams, Daryl Chocolate Thunder Dawkins, and Hershey Hawkins.
Daryl Chocolate Thunder.
No,
Marshmallow?
Daryl. Yeah, Who said Marshmallow?
It wasn't my turn. I just thought maybe you went that way.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
a tricky one. That was a tricky one.
no, Daryl Dawkins. He got that nickname, Chocolate Thunder. He broke backboards. Just Google him. They'll probably come up with those broken blackboards. He played with the Nets. He played with Actually, he was very good with the Sixers. So
Olawokandi was probably one of the biggest busts in NBA history. He was
Yeah.
number one pick for the Clippers
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
years ago.
Right, exactly. All right, Kenny, you're up next, and this next section is sparkly gifts. And who should sing this? But single ladies, put a ring on it. Okay, so here you go. Earl the Pearl Monroe, Ricky Rubio, Ron 24 Karat Gold, Kevin Garnett, Scott Diamond, or Diamond Stone.
So Diamond Stone was the last one. What was the 24 karat name?
Ron 24 Karat Gold.
Would he go that easy on 24 karat? It's either 24 karat gold or stone. And my Diamond Stone sounds right. I'm going to go 24 karat gold.
Yep, you're right.
There you
Yay,
go.
you finally got one.
There you go.
Good job, Kenny.
Ron 24 Karat Gold is probably some accountant for some firm in New York or something. I just made that up. All right, Carson, last
Yeah.
one. Come on, man, you got to get this.
Okay.
All right. So the last one is nicknames. You know, you might call your significant other honey, sweetie, dearest, sweetheart. So, of course, what's the song? Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, which probably he could have been in the previous question. But let me give you some names. Carson,
Okay.
Ron Darling, Scott Darling, Babe Ruth, Babe Dahlgren, Tyran Honey Badger, Matteau, and Steve Sweet Pea Mason.
I'm going to say the Honey Badger guy.
Tyran Honey Badger Matteau.
Yeah.
No, wrong. Honey Badger was the defensive back.
For the Saints.
Yeah, from the Saints, and he played with who was the team that he played with prior to the
Chiefs.
Saints?
He was with
The Chiefs.
right?
Yeah, right.
Honey Badger.
Right. No, actually, I made up a name. It was Steve Sweet Pea Mason.
He was either that or that.
So that's my Valentine's Day K&K style.
Nice.
Good job,
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Anything else? Valentine's Day, boys and audience. Anybody else want to?
No.
Let me shift gears a little bit. I think that's going to cut it for the Super Bowl talk, some football talk. We got the hangover now. We got free agency coming up, draft talk, this and that. But right now there's some basketball going on, and I'm going to pass it off to Carson, get some NBA and college basketball chat in here.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. I'll kind of keep it brief and quick because we're kind of going over time here. But I'll just ask you guys a quick question. March Madness is coming up. in about a month or so, we're going to be doing a bracket challenge. We always do it every year, so we're looking forward to do that. But yeah, really quickly for basketball, if you guys watch any college basketball right now, I'll give you some rankings here, and I'll just ask you guys who you think the best conference is right now in college basketball. So you got 3 Big Ten teams in the top 25. You got 3 ACC teams, 5 SEC teams, 3 Big East teams, and 1 Pac-12 team. The most has the Big 12. They got 6 Big 12 teams. So who would you say right now off the top of your head is the best conference in college basketball? Kenny.
I guess I'm gonna have to go Big 12, but Big East is always competitive. I mean,
yeah,
any day of the week, a St. John's team who has 10 losses can beat UConn. But you got Marquette up there, UConn. So I'm gonna go Big East very close because you have the number 1 team in UConn and number 4 in Marquette. So you got 2 top 4 teams, in the Big East, and then it's a little drop off for the next couple teams after that. But I'll go Big 12 right now, but Big East is close second.
Nice. Paul, do you got an answer? Best conference in college basketball?
Yeah, I mean, ACC always up there. Big Ten, they're good during the season, and then wait till the tournament, and then
yeah.
But I'll go Big East right now. I think Kenny is right. They're always competitive up and down. You never know who's going to win out of there. So right now, I'll say Big East.
Nice. Trevor, you got a answer for college basketball?
Yeah, I was going to say Big East too. I just think I really like what UConn does. I mean, that's just such a great program up and down. So I would say Big East, and UConn's just going to be, they're going to be dominant again. So I would say Big East.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think the Big East always shows up in the tournament. UConn's number 1. They look amazing. They could possibly go back-to-back champs as well. So that's just my quick little question about college basketball. We'll transition right to the NBA. I know Paul and Kenny, you guys are Knicks fans. Trevor, are you a Nuggets fan as well?
Oh,
Denver?
Absolutely. Yep.
Nuggets,
absolutely.
nice. Okay. So yeah, we got the kind of the back end of the NBA season. Going through the month of April. As a Pistons fan, I am in absolute purgatory, but that's okay. But who would you guys say is the best team right now in the Eastern Conference and the best team in the Western Conference? So I'll give you the top 3 right now in the West. You got the Timberwolves, number 1. You got the Thunder right behind them and number 2, and then you got the Clippers and the Nuggets, who are tied basically for the 3 seed. And then in the East, you got Boston. Cleveland is actually the number 2 seed in the East. So that's a big surprise for me this season. And then you got Milwaukee, and then the Knicks are right behind them for number 4. So give me your best team in the East and best team in the West. We'll go Kenny again to start.
For me, it's got to be the Celtics. I mean, they're a little weak on the bench, though, so I'd be worried about them in a 7-game series because they don't have a strong bench. But I still got to put them number 1. Like you said, Carson, Cleveland, watch out for them. But the Knicks, once they get everybody back, could be a very sneaky team heading into the playoffs. We got everybody hurt, so once we get players back, it's going to be a dangerous team. In the West, I like the Nuggets a lot. But you want me to do West too? Or you want to just do East?
Yeah, West as well.
Until you knock the Nuggets off, I don't care what seed they are. They're the best. As long as you got Jokic over there. But watch out for this Thunder team, man. This Thunder team, they made a move at the deadline. If Gordon Hayward stays healthy, that could be a winning move. So watch out for the Thunder as a chance to knock the Nuggets off.
Paul, give me a best team in the East, best team in the West.
Yeah, I was going to say the Celtics, but just to be a little different, I'll say the Bucks. But I certainly echo Kenny's feeling about the Knicks with these 2 trades and getting, I'm sorry, Carson, we fleeced your Pistons. Yeah. I think this solidifies literally a 10-player deep bench that the Knicks can do, especially once they get healthy. And you know what? This might be a blessing in disguise for the Knicks, having the injuries now and then getting them ready as the playoffs get closer. So they'll be rested and maybe it'll be helpful. In the West, I'm going to go with Trevor's Nuggets. Like Kenny just said, until they're beaten, you have to respect them, and I do. So right now, I'm going to go with the Nuggets.
Nice. And Trevor, give me your teams in the East and West.
Yeah, so I have the Celtics in the East. I just think they're the best team out there, and then they have the best starting five, in my opinion. They just got Xavier Tillman at the deadline. I think that was a pretty good deal for them for 2 second-round draft picks. That was a pretty good steal for them. And then the West, I have to go with the Nuggets. I can't go against them, even though I'm really a team to watch to knock them off would be Minnesota. Minnesota matched up well with us last year in the playoffs. Gobert and Towns, I mean, that's just so hard to beat, and they just continue to get better. And but Denver, yeah, I agree. You know, until they're knocked off, it's really hard to say, you know, that any other team would beat them. And again, they're resting guys right now. They're not even. I mean, I don't even think they're playing 100% every single night. You know, they're resting up until the playoffs and trying to go into the playoffs as healthy as possible. So I'd say Boston in the East and Denver in the West.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think you can't count out the defending champs with the Nuggets. I think Jokic is just so good. He's the favorite right now to win MVP. I'm with you guys. I'm hoping your guys' Knicks can make it to the finals this year out of the West, the East. You know, we'll see what happens with Embiid with the Sixers, if he comes back or not. But I think you guys can put up a solid fight against either the Celtics, the Bucks, or the Cavs. So I think those are the 4 teams. But yeah, keep an eye on the Timberwolves, man. Like Trevor said, the Timberwolves, I mean, they're the 1 seed right now in the West, and you can get them at 25-1 to win the championship. So that's really good value, in my opinion. I mean, you got Ant-Man, who I think is a top 10 player, Gobert, and Karl Anthony Towns, and a bunch of shooters on that team. So I like the Timberwolves a lot, but I also like the Nuggets too. So that's kind of my quick rapid fire discussion on basketball. I know football just ended, so it's going to be basketball pretty much from here on out. But thanks for your responses, guys.
Thanks, Carson.
Thank you, Carson. Yeah. Kenny, can I just throw in a quick sort of a wits and wagers type of last football? So I don't know if anyone saw this. You guys know who Peter Schrager is from NFL Insider, and he's on Good Morning Football. Anyway, I read this afternoon that he's picked the last 5 Super Bowl winners, and if he had put down a $100 bet 5 years ago and getting the odds that he did, he would have won $7 million with picking those 5 Super Bowl winners. So just throwing that out there.
That's crazy.
And there's the over under 1 for Russell Wilson talk tonight. Jody Monker saying Peter Schrager's the biggest Russ hater. Got a quick question for me.
Even without Kurt not here. Kurt not here.
He wants to know my thoughts on Melo saying he didn't ask for a trade to the Knicks.
Lies.
Hey. Yeah, you know what? It comes out 20 years later that 10 years later after the trade, he didn't ask for a trade. I think he did. I think it's just ratings, on a podcast, Dwayne Wade show, just to get some in the media talk. So, that's my thoughts on it. And I don't think there's much else to really say on it.
It's funny because George Karl actually called him out on Twitter about it. So that was pretty interesting to see that your old coach calls you out and says, "No, when I came back from my cancer, you demanded a trade out." So, I mean,
Carson, you got one college football question or a couple quick hitter questions for us college football, and then I can do my college football thing to wrap the show up tonight because we got about 10
sounds good, Kenny. Yeah, I had this one I kind of threw out to Kenny. I thought this was kind of interesting to put on the list. We've talked about this briefly before in the past, and in the chat, let us know what you guys think as well. But obviously, the whole college sports world has definitely changed over the last 10 years. Going from the bowl games, which used to be a crazy big event, especially on New Year's, you saw the best players play. There wasn't any guys sitting out or opting out. They're trying to boost their stock for the draft. And now you got all these guys who are basically sitting out for the draft, or they're transferring because they got to get it in to see other schools by a certain deadline. You got guys basically literally leaving their school to literally get paid millions of dollars by other universities in the transfer portal. Even high school kids are getting offered crazy amount of money to commit to their school. So there's a fine line between NIL versus kids accepting money straight from universities and being literally bribed to come play college athletics at their schools. So do you guys have a problem with this? And this is just my 2 cents on the whole situation. I have no problem for kids profiting off themselves, NIL, name, image, and likeness. I have no problem with that whatsoever. If they want to market themselves, sell merchandise, star in commercials, that's totally fine. Where I have a thin line is when college is it's becoming free agency right now in college sports. And I don't know what your guys' thought is on that, but it kind of seems like the whole idea of you stay there for 4 years, you develop, you grow, you develop a good hard work ethic, and then, you build your character. Now it's like if these guys are upset about playing time, they're just going to leave and pack their bags. So really quickly, do you guys like the transfer portal? Do you hate it? Do you not like it? And then kind of tying it in with NIL, what are your thoughts on that overall in general? Because it's basically changed college sports over the last 2 to 3 years, and I think it's only going to get crazier. So what are your thoughts on that, Paul?
Yeah, I being a Notre Dame fan, at times you want to say, "Oh, great! You're going to get a Sam Hartman, you're going to get the kid from Duke, Leonard, coming in."
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I can't stand it. You described it perfectly. It's a free agent, free agency now, and these kids are not in to be students. The term student athlete is BS. If we were on later, I'd be saying it a different way. And all they are is in there to profit, which, listen, at that age, I wanted to make money also and work. But the idea that you're going to a college and you're playing football with an opportunity to better yourself, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm not going to play, I'm going to a different school. Arch Manning had an opportunity maybe to transfer because Ewers is coming back, obviously, and he was named the starting quarterback. I'm sure he's going to stay because he has some principles, but every player that feels it's not the right fit anymore, I'm out of here. And it just kills the essence of what college sports was. And listen, you can make the argument also that colleges are making millions and billions of dollars on these kids, and I understand that they should get some money, but it's not what certainly you remember. It's certainly not what I remember 20, 30, 40 years ago. That's for sure. And it's I think it's deflated what college sports is all about.
Well said, Paul. Trevor, your thoughts on the whole transfer NIL in college athletics?
Yeah, I think it's a mess, honestly. Again, I think you described it perfectly, Carson. It's free, it's NFL free agency all over again. For me, I just I don't have a problem with these kids profiting off themselves. Again, there needs to be a cap, though. The NCAA needs to put a cap in this and say, okay, you can't be making millions of dollars in college because, first of all, what it's going to do to the NFL as well. These kids are starting to stay in school because they're making about the same amount of money as they would be making going to the NFL as well. So it's affecting. It's so many different leagues right now, and it's just. I think it's a mess, and there's people like Jody says right here. Sanders driving a Rolls Royce. It's just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we're going through this, and they're getting free scholarships on top of that. Like, how much are you going to keep giving these guys anything? You're not making them work for it. You're just giving them this. And I get they're immensely talented, but let them work for it. You're missing the whole point of the hard work ethic. How are they going to work hard if they're just going to get everything? That's the thing. And just. I think it's a mess. I don't have a problem with them making a profit, but there needs to be a cap that's you can't go over this cap as far as players that you pay to come, and it's just and then they're only a certain amount. It's just like millions and millions of dollars in college is ridiculous. I think you should earn that down the line. If you go to the NFL and you want to do that, that's a different situation. You earn that that right. In college, we don't know. You just don't earn that right. High school and college completely different. So it's a mess right now. They have to put a cap on it, and if they don't, we're going to see it transpire in multiple different leagues. It's going to be a leaking problem for a long time.
Nice. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Trevor. Yeah, Kenny, quick thoughts on the whole NIL transfer portal college situation.
Yeah, just one quick comment from Jody. How does a team like Wyoming ever compete? Well, the only way they compete, Jody, is if they transfer to school to California and have the University of Wyoming at Los Angeles, because they unfortunately can't compete with the big schools because of where they're located. I meant that came out of, as a joke, but in all serious, they can't. They can't really compete, Jody. My thoughts are just, you guys, not to echo everybody's words, but transfer portal in the NIL, if it's done right, put a cap on it. Like these, you don't want somebody making $5-10 million, and then what's that do when they go to the NFL? They want 20, 30, 40 million dollars. That's not going to work. And the transfer portal, I don't have a problem if it's done correctly, in my opinion. And how it's done correctly would be, I'll use an example. Grayson McCall, Coastal Carolina quarterback. I'm using this example because my friend's a Coastal Carolina alumni. And Charlie Alimo, a good friend of mine, his son's the tight end on that team. So I'll use that team as an example. Grayson McCall, star quarterback, sits out of the bowl game because he already transferred to NC State. How do you look as a teammate when you transfer right when the bowl game's coming up, and then he's on the sidelines when the game is on? Well, play in the game. Don't transfer to NC State. There should be rules that you can't transfer till the season's over. Same thing with coaches. I know we're not talking about coaches, but all these coaches that change schools once the regular season's over. Well, how come you can talk to a coach and Nick Saban can go coach USC right after the SEC championship game, if they don't make it to the championship game? You guys, Carson, you guys, Michigan State, you guys got the Oregon State head coach before their bowl game. That bothers me. But same with the transfer portal. It should wait till the season's over. Not these players transferring before their bowl games.
Right.
And then me personally, I'm looking at it like, man, what kind of a teammate is this guy? Because he's quitting on us by going to another school. That's how I look at it. So, it's not done properly. It could be done right. If it's done the right way, it could work because you have a backup. Michigan's loaded with quarterbacks, and I'm the second, third string quarterback. And now a team like, I'll just use Michigan State, needs a quarterback, and they're offering me a chance to start. I'll go transfer there and maybe have a chance where I'm not going to have that chance with Michigan. So it's got to be done the right way, and hopefully it will, but I don't see it anytime soon.
Yeah, for sure. No, I couldn't agree with all of you guys more. You guys all made solid points, but I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's definitely changing the game. I think there's a lot of guys that are just going for the checks and they're not really putting the work in. And as a teammate, if my buddy was being paid, millions of dollars, especially if I was an offensive lineman, I'm blocking for a quarterback and he's making 100 times more than I did, I would be pretty upset about that, especially for a college kid where these guys are acting like they're, the king of the world and give me all this money to come play for your school. Especially some of them haven't even taken a college snap yet and they're getting crazy offers. So I think it's kind of ridiculous. Locally, there was Eastern Michigan, I think, offered Caleb Williams like $1 million to come play for Eastern Michigan. So it's just kind of ridiculous, but I just wanted to get that in. And I think it's definitely a problem. And there needs to be somebody would step in and put a cap on it or do something. But I just want to throw that out there. But thanks, guys.
Not to be funny, Carson, but you mentioned, or somebody mentioned Sanders. Maybe that's why he was getting sacked so often. His O-line was so jealous of him driving his Bentley.
Yeah.
Well, now they're probably even bringing in offensive linemen though for the NIL money. Now they're I mean, it's insane that. And again, the locker room. I just wonder how these locker rooms are with. I mean, players, down on the roster, kind of depth guys to starters. I mean, it's got to be some sort of diversity in that locker room when it comes to the money wise. You're making this player's making $2-3 million. Well, meanwhile, this guy's working his butt off just for a full ride scholarship. So, I mean, it's insane.
Well, here's Jody. A couple comments from Jody, and then we'll get our closing thoughts in, guys. Jody brings up a good point. He says, Coach, if a coach bails in the middle of the night, like the Washington head coach did, so can the kid. How about Brian Kelly? Kelly, the way he left Notre Dame to go to LSU. and
Right.
coaches do it every year. So yeah, I agree, Jody. If they're going to allow the coaches to do it, then I guess the kids can do it too. And then he says, and then about the NIL, Carson, I think you want your full NIL. I think if you want your full NIL, you must play in the bowl game. He's saying. That's good. I like that. I like that. Yeah, and that's a good point. Anything else, college football boys? Before we get our closing thoughts in. All right, guys. I think it's time for some closing thoughts. We'll go to Paul first. We'll get his closing thoughts.
All right. Great show, guys. Trevor, always a pleasure. You're always welcome to come on. Thank you so much for substituting or pinch hitting for Kurt. We miss him, but we certainly had the pleasure of having you here today. And outstanding job this afternoon or this evening. And I do want to mention this. I've been wanting to say this the last couple of weeks, but never had the chance to. A character, an iconic character who died just a couple of weeks ago, one of the greatest movie characters of all time, Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers, passed away a couple of weeks ago. And I just wanted to say, as someone who loved the Rocky series, and obviously without the Apollo Creed and the character, just brought to life by Carl Weathers, there never would have been a complete Rocky series. So just wanted to say rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Also, if you're a fan of Happy Gilmore, he also had a great role in Happy Gilmore. So just rest in peace, Carl.
Absolutely. And he was in the FanDuel commercial, and hats off to FanDuel
Yes,
to
he was.
recognize him at the end.
Yes, he was.
He was the Happy Gilmore. He was that character, and I can't think of him off the top of my head.
Chubbs, I think.
Chubbs.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Paul said, I want to thank Trevor for coming on tonight. Denver Bronco Roundup. You can catch the guys on Tuesday nights and Friday nights right now. On our time, it's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern. But Trevor, thank you for coming on. Give us your final thoughts.
Yeah, I want to thank all you guys, Kenny, Paul, Carson. You guys are awesome. And again, I look forward to watching the KK Sports Show every week. You guys do amazing work covering all sorts of sports. We just cover the Broncos. You guys cover so many different sports, and it's just you guys are amazing, and you guys are. It's just so knowledgeable. And again, it's an honor to sit here with you guys in here. I know you guys are missing Kurt, and Kurt's fantastic, and he's so knowledgeable as well. Much love to all you guys, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there in the audience as well, and to all you guys as well. Hope you guys had a great day and continue to have a great evening. But again, thank you guys for everything, and really appreciate you guys, and can't wait to see you guys this next show.
Thanks for those kind words there, Trevor.
Thanks, Trevor.
Jody, Kurt is not on tonight. He's taking the night off, Valentine's Day, spending it with Jen, so he will not be doing his Bronco show this evening. Carson, your final thoughts, and please, I forgot earlier, can you let us know about the Carson Shear Show a little bit, what you got going on YouTube?
Yeah, obviously, great show tonight, guys. Love talking sports with you all. Trevor, thanks for coming on, man. And appreciate everybody watching in the audience. You guys are awesome. If you gudy want, start my own YouTube channel, podcast. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, The Carson Shear Show. Any major news that pops up, I kind of react to it. Mostly Detroit sports, so Lions, Pistons. I'm breaking down the Tigers every game this season. You can find me Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, The Carson Shear Show.
Awesome stuff. And,
can I just quickly interject and ask Carson something? Hey, yeah. Carson, what did you think of Dan Campbell's reaction to if that had been one of the Lions that did that to him, but Travis Kelce did to Andy Reid?
Yeah, I got to look into that, what he said. I'm pretty sure that was an exaggerated quote that was reported, but I thought that was funny regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jody wants to know, Carson, if you can do any politics.
Oh, God, no. Let's get away from that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But like everybody said, I want to thank everybody, audience, Jody, Keith earlier, Eddie Murphy. I know I'm missing a bunch of people that were on earlier. Scoops, Coach Breslin. Everybody I missed, I apologize. I'll go back in the comments and definitely respond to you all. Again, thanks for Trevor hanging out with us tonight. Paul, Carson, always great job. I enjoy you guys every week. Happy Valentine's Day, Kurt, Jen, Luby, Trevor, Carson, your families. Happy Valentine's Day to all, and we'll see everybody next week. Have a
See you
good night,
guys.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.